Hello, Bossy. Welcome to your Bossy podcast. Today, I wanted to discuss something that I kind of came upon and then I reflected on, and I want to share with you guys. So, today, I'm going to be talking about the power of having a productive and safe space to go to when things like CSA happens. And I came upon this, or this was brought to my attention because I was scrolling through, I think it was Instagram, and there was an episode or a clip of Mel Robbins and this older gentleman that I always see. He's very wise and he's just honestly really good, but I forgot his name. But it was a discussion between both of them. And basically, it was, long story short, he told her because she shared something about how she woke up and she saw a older teenager on top of her, and she was about in fourth grade at that time. So she was scared and she didn't know what to do, and she never told her parents about it. And he told her about how that trauma didn't really start from just there, and that in a way that trauma started from her not having a safe space to go to after that trauma happened. And I've brought this up to you guys before in the past about how I feel like if my parents created a safe space for me, it wouldn't have taken me that long till I was like 18, 19 years old in order to come out to them about me being sexually assaulted. I think I would have came to them way sooner, like maybe even when it was happening to me and I wasn't sure. But when I started to be scared, there were moments in that essay where I started to be scared. And if my parents had created a safe space for me and they were productive about like educating me, then I think I would have gone to them and I would have not prolonged such a hard journey of dealing with it by myself. Do I blame my parents? Not necessarily. I don't blame them that they couldn't get the education that they needed, or that they didn't get the help to educate them about you should be productive with your child and educate them on sexuality and about what not to do or what to do or when to come to you and to create a safe space for you. They weren't taught any of that, and I don't blame them for that. But at the same time, I feel like I do hold them accountable for that because they didn't know this and they didn't create a safe space for me and they weren't productive about these kind of things. Then at the same time, I couldn't go to them sooner. And some may argue certain things when it comes down to a relationship between a parent and their child. But at the same time, like, I didn't ask to be born into this world. I think when a parent is making that choice, or they give birth to a human being, that they are responsible for things that happen to a certain extent, and that they need to hold themselves accountable or be in a way better prepared. Like I get it. You can't always be prepared for everything, but at the same time, I think that these kind of things where you create a safe space and you are productive, I think they're very, very important to have as a parent for your child. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say something about this really quick because I think that you should think about these kind of things if you want to have children, because if something like this happens to your child, you would want your child to come to you. And how are you going to create that for your child so that they aren't scared and they aren't silent about it, or if they would rather take their life than come to you about it? So yeah, I just hope that this gives you some motivation if you're planning to have kids, or if you have kids right now. Don't think that it will never ever happen to your child, because, you know, my parents and them never ever thought that it would happen to me, but it did. I think that there are things that we just can't prevent, but we can do better at educating our child when things happen, that they could still come to you, or just creating that safe space for them to feel heard or seen or like they are loved. I think about Mel and how she shared that, and I think about my own journey about how it can be so lonely and it can get so lonely because you just don't want to burden them as well. And you just think about how you would just carry all of this by yourself. But at the same time, I think that it is healing and it is something that you need to bring up to your parents when things like this happen. It's a lot easier said than done. I get it, because if it's like my parents where they didn't receive the education or they don't know how to create a safe space for you to that extent, even my parents, like, it's uncomfortable to talk about sex. And I think that they never were taught about normalizing how reproduction and things like this is a natural part of a human. So it can be very uncomfortable for certain people, but I think that sometimes we have to break those barriers and we have to make sure that people are safe and that people aren't being abused over what we feel is comfortable. All right, Bossy, that's all I have to share with you guys. I just hope that this gives you some insight and lets you know how I feel about it too. Yeah, I don't hold any like hard feelings against my parents, but at the same time, I do want to hold them accountable too, because if they had created that safe space for me, I think it wouldn't have taken me that long to come out to them. I really came out to them not because they created a safe space at all. It was because I wanted to live. So I was like, you guys keep giving me a hard time. This is what happened to me. Stop bothering me, type of deal. Yeah. All right, Bossy. With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. This is a very short episode, but it's something that I just wanted to blur out there. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, stay being the bad boss that you are.